here. One of the questions being that there's a lot of evidence for meteoric activity on the Earth, and if it were compressed into the relatively small period of time of 6,000 years, that the explosions that it would have caused would be very significant and would threaten life on Earth if all these things were compressed into 6,000 years. And I know that some of the people in the audience are also looking for maybe we should break this into two questions, addressing meteoric dust, and I know that that's been an issue in some debates of this type. So let's break it into two questions. Let's first address the compression of meteors into 6,000 years, the meteoric action that there's geological evidence for on Earth. Dr. Hovind, if you could take that.
Okay, I would point out, go ahead with that. First of all, most comets flying through space and therefore hitting the Earth are simply ice, okay, which wouldn't live a pile of dust. Comets are made of rock. There are several types. There's the stony nickel, the iron, and the ice. And the vast majority are ice or ice and iron mixtures or ice and stony nickel mixtures. But by far, the greatest majority of even each individual comet seems to be ice, which is why you get this huge tail when it goes near the sun. They're always blowing off the ice particles as they're melting away or being blown out. Comets don't last very long. Less than 10,000 years is the life expectancy of a comet. So the question would be, why do we still have comets? You know, they're still here. They don't last more than 10,000 years. They're flying around. That's another evidence of a young Earth. As far as the evidence of somebody actually compressing the meteor dust, I don't think that's ever been done, to my knowledge. The existence of comets and meteors is an enigma to the evolutionist and the old Earth creationist. I
didn't mean to compress the meteoric dust. What I meant was, if there is evidence of meteoric activity, meteors hitting the Earth, and some of them being very significant and potentially climate changing, all that kind of thing. If those meteors hit the Earth all within a 6,000 year period of time, wouldn't that have given us a vastly different history than what we have?
I think they're starting with the assumption that the Yucatan Peninsula magnetic anomalies represents a giant meteor impact, and it might. Okay, I've been to the Barringer crater, studied it pretty carefully. There's a large one in Canada, 47-mile diameter crater. But I think a 47-mile crater on an Earth 8,000 miles in diameter is really insignificant. I don't see a problem with the meteoric activity being too great. I believe the Earth was struck by an ice meteor at the time of the flood, and that's what triggered the flood to start. And ice, of course, would make huge pockets and simply melt away and would not create catastrophic events. It flooded the world. I cover that in my video number 6. So I think we'd have to have more precise details to even answer the question. You know, like how many known meteor craters are there? I would say it's probably of any relative size. I mean, the Barringer crater is only 4,000 feet across, which a meteor the size of this room could have made a 4,000-foot crater. You know, you can shoot a .22 bullet into the mud and make a hole that big, you know, depending on the softness of the mud. So I don't think it would cause any catastrophic. When the Shoemaker comet hit Jupiter, everybody worried it was going to end the solar system. It's like a BB hitting a freight train. Nobody's going to know it even happened. So I don't see a problem.
Well, actually, this is one of the more curious arguments that I've heard in a while, and I think it's quite an interesting one. The bottom line is, if you look at the moon, and you know, you can see pretty well what the rate of meteoric activity has been. You can count the craters. It's pretty straightforward. And if you look at, you know, so the Earth and the Moon, in either scenario, mine or Dr. Hovind's, are about the same age. So they must have both been undergoing the same kind of meteoric activity. So you can either spread that out over, in my view, 14 billion years, in which case the Earth can handle that. Human life can handle that if it's recent. Or you compress all of those meteors falling onto the moon, falling onto the Earth into 6,000 years, creates complete calamity. It would destroy the Earth, destroy human beings. This would be a giant wasteland right now. So I don't know if there's a lot more to say about that. It seems pretty intuitive to me, but I've been wrong before. So.
All right, we also have a lot of questions on dinosaurs. Where do dinosaurs fit into each respective old Earth, young Earth camp presentation? So I believe that Dr. Hoven, you started first the last question, so Jamin, if you could start first this time and address dinosaurs, where they fit in, that kind of thing.
Sure. Well, I think dinosaurs fit very nicely into the creation account. It was an old creation. Dinosaurs were one of the creatures that were one of the many species that were created. The Bible doesn't specify all the different species. It doesn't say everything but, dinosaurs. They were all part of God's creation. And many of the animals that were created, actually they all were created before human beings. So if there were long periods of time involved there, the dinosaurs were created and lived in that period. I think that they coexisted with the early humans. So that's my I don't know if I'm addressing the right question here, so I think they fit neatly into the old Earth scenario.
Okay. Dr. Hoven?
I would disagree totally. I think that dinosaurs had to be created on the sixth day with the rest of the animals. There was no death till Adam sinned. This guy says nobody's ever seen a dinosaur. Of course, he can't possibly know that. That's his religion, not his science. The Bible says, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth, and in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth and the sea and all that in them is. That would include dinosaurs. God made everything in 6 days. In my video 2, we talk about what the earth was like before the creation. That would be essential to understand this. But from the creation up until the flood, things were different. The Bible clearly teaches the people lived to be 900 years old. I haven't asked Jamin the question, do you really believe this is true? Did they live to be 900? And why don't we today? And how does that fit into the old earth creation view? But if people are living 900 years, it's logical to assume that something was different on the planet, and probably everything is living longer. Well, reptiles never stop growing. Reptiles grow all their life. It's just a biological fact. A few reptiles maybe slow down or stop, but 99% grow all their life. So before the flood came, reptiles living 900 years would be huge. Dinosaurs were big lizards that lived with Adam and Eve. Noah took them on the ark. Probably babies, of course. Just be sure to get a pink one and a blue one. That'll be important later. But after the flood, people killed most of these dinosaurs. They called them dragons all through history. They're known as dragons. And the word dinosaur was made up in 1841. So Noah took dinosaurs on the ark. After the flood's over, they got off the ark. They faced a different world. Things had changed. And we cover all that in video 3. And my computer's slowing down on me here. But yeah, I think I don't see a problem with dinosaurs at all. Matter of fact, I love dinosaurs. Our website is Dr. Dino. My phone number is 479-DINO. We have Dinosaur Adventureland in my backyard. But they used to be called dragons. Same animals, though. Mentioned in the Bible 34 times, dragons are. And Leviathan and Behemoth also. Job 40, verse 15, Behemoth, it has to be a dinosaur. It says it has a tail like a cedar tree. It can stop a river. Just read the passage. That's talking about a dinosaur.
All right. I want to move on to, if we can think for a minute about Genesis chapter 1. On the first day, God created light. I believe it's on the fourth day that he creates, or the third day he creates the sun, moon, and stars. Can we talk about light and in either the young earth or old earth view, what was this, for example, what would be the source of light prior to the stars and the moon being created, or do you believe that the stars and the